Greetings. Let's imagine now that here you are, maybe level 2 on your Reiki journey, maybe a Reiki Master teacher, and you're thinking to yourself, wow, I've got this amazing gift, and I really like to take this to a nice professional level now. I'd like to offer my services as a business. And do you go out there thinking, oh, big cheesy smile and rub your hands together, thinking of all these wonderful people who are going to come knocking on your door? Do you go out there and you think you're doing the right things, flooding Facebook with countless ads and Lord knows what else, maybe even knocking on people's doors, and you're already waiting for that phone to ring, and you wait. And you wait, maybe you check your emails, perhaps there's loads of inquiries, maybe on your Facebook Messenger. No, the only message is, what are you doing tonight? Fancy coming out for a beer? And you begin to think, am I missing a trick here? I thought when I had this Reiki business I'm all ready to go, people are going to rock up on my door. The reality, I'm afraid, is somewhat different, isn't it? And there are many things to consider. You got to remember, you are not the only Reiki practitioner out there. You are not the only Reiki master teacher out there. And you start to realize, oh, maybe getting a living out of all this isn't quite as easy as I thought it might be. So today, I thought, and whilst I'm not going to have all the answers here, because I could be honest with you, I could do with a bit of help myself. But I'm going to share some ideas with you, and that's what this is all about. It's sharing ideas, it's sharing our content, sharing our values as we build our community, and maybe, just maybe, these may well resonate with you. So here we go. You know it's serious when I get the old board out. So we got the old whiteboard, and stick around because the one's over the page from this one I really like, but they're all valid. Of course they are. How dare you to say I'm not? But let's begin. At number one, it's a pretty obvious one, and some of these will be obvious, but some maybe make you think. It's a website. You know, a website is your face, your portal. Now, I get it. I mean, I've got a website and it has me scratching my head at times. And you could argue, invest in the website, make it like, super duper, hunky dory, all full of SEOs. To be honest with you, I'm not too worried about SEOs, but it is a front for me to show where people can contact me. They can see what I do and they can order things off me. It's quite important just to kind of, it's like a tick. Now, the way I see my website is if people come through YouTube and they want to interact with me, I can send them there, and that's a beautiful way we can get some interaction going. I would say that there's one beautiful thing about websites as well, um, and that is you can start doing blogs as well. So you can put little articles on there, however big or long is up to you, and slowly build a bit of information that you can share as well. That's another thing that I do on my little website, and it's a gradual process of building and building and building. And of course, it's up to you how good a designer you are, if you want to invest. Yeah, this is the thing, you've got to think of your budget as well. Is it going to be like a freebie or is it not? I mean, I do spend a little bit on there because it gives it that professional edge. But I'm not going to lie, I'm no expert. But I have a portal, and I do suggest that we do have that as well. So, number one, website. Number two, now when we become sort of like step into our Reiki business, the worst thing we can do is just be another box standard Reiki practitioner, because it's going to be tough. You got to try and look for something that's a little bit unique. Now, a lady that asked for to do this, she's like a tarot card reader. Now, straight away, I'm thinking, why not have kind of like a tarot session that may lead into a Reiki session? So you're kind of getting two for one going on there. I do this myself sometimes. People come to me for an hour session, and I often do half hour reading, half hour Reiki. So it's a beautiful merging of energies. That's just one idea, but you may be a masseur, and this is a thing. It's like give a massage and bring the Reiki in, so it's like a Reiki massage. That's another thing you can do. Um, Maybe you're going to be using your Reiki for abundance or some kind of, or sort of like build some kind of list for that person to work with, you know? If that's your, especially if you are one of these people that do like, manifestation plans or whatever, why not bring that on Reiki meditations? So this is what it's all about. With me, my uniqueness is I don't just do Reiki. I do angelic Reiki, I do angelic harmony therapy, I do crystals, I do runes and tarots, and it's still not enough. It's like you can merge all these different things together and see what makes you unique, because then you stand out a little bit, and then maybe getting people's attention is an important thing. So be unique, be yourself. Don't follow the crowd to some degree. Number three, and this is important as well. So, how do we build our uniqueness? The worst thing you can do is just sell. Sort of like you start a page out, I'm going to sell you Reiki. I'm going to sell you Reiki. I'm doing Reiki this weekend, blah, 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 blah. People look at it, scroll by, scroll by, scroll by. There's another one. We begin by educating people. It's like offer information. That's with me, with my YouTube, what it's all about. Yeah, occasionally we'll take to you, if you want to interact with me, do XX. But a lot of these are not about that at all. It's sharing hopefully, my wisdom and listening to your wisdom as well. And this is what we can do. We can educate. You can do, if you want to follow my route and do some YouTube videos, fine. But I would say, just like I'm having to do, if you do decide to go down that route, make sure your videos stay on top, on point. Worst thing you can do is sort of like do a YouTube video on Reiki one day, and then a poetry thing the next, which is what I used to do because I love writing as well. It's either a Reiki channel or it's a writing channel or whatever you want to do, unless you are doing it for fun. If you're doing it for fun, of course, that's different. You can put that what the hell you like is, but YouTube's never going to know what you are, so you're never going to be recommended. But once you kind of like really kind of like niche down and get on into that subject, stay on point and be patient. Articles, write articles. You can submit to magazines. You can, like I said, you can do blog posts or whatever you like. Get known in Reiki publications if you want. You would have to have a little bit of skill with a written word. These are things you can do, just simple little things. Or if even the people, maybe you've trained people or worked with people, just keep them informed about what you've learnt with your Reiki journey. So education is quite a nice one to stay on top with. Number four, professional space. So we can work from home, and I have done it from home, but we've got to be a little bit careful because you've got to be thinking about them slipping over, falling over, stripping up the stairs and all this kind of thing. Are you allowed to do it in your home? I know it sounds ludicrous, but some are quite strict about you can't. And have you got the space? So have a dedicated space. The worst thing you can do is have them in your living room. You've got a telly in the corner there. You've got ironing maybe on a sort of like error or something like that. You've got noisy cars whizzing on by and Lord knows what else. And it's just not the right environment. It's difficult. At the end of the day, it's your space. So you almost need a dedicated room where you can convert it purely for the sense of Reiki readings, whatever you want to do. If there's a problem, then find somewhere where you can practice out of. Now, of course, this will entail, will entail you having some rental space, or, if someone comes in, they take a percentage of what your take is. These are things that are worth you have to consider, of course. Once you do that, it's something you can work out and then charge accordingly. You have to factor in how much your rental space is. And of course, the difficulty, the balancing act is not, you think, well, I don't price myself out, but you see, if you're looking to make a living out of this, you do have to think of those things. So yeah, if you are going to work from home, do make sure you're not going to be disturbed as well. The last thing you want is the phone going off or someone start knocking at the front door, which, to be honest, very difficult to stop that. But it would completely wreck the Reiki experience for who you're with. These are real serious things we have to think about. So a professional space where it's nice and clean, you're not going to be disturbed. You can do, and it also kind of like gives you that professionalism anyway. People feel safer. They've got to go to some strange house in the middle of a housing estate. They might feel a little bit dubious about that. So that's something, another thing to consider. Number five. So you've had a couple of people come round. Try to build a bit of rapport with them. You know, bit of rapport. Let them know what's coming up. Kind of like, interact with them. What do they want from you? They've had a Reiki session. Maybe they want a tarot reading from you. Maybe they want a crystal healing from you. Or maybe they'll try and just share your knowledge. You might be able to show a development circle or something like that. If you've got the confidence and the wherewithal to do it, build on that. But building rapport really helps because then they keep coming back to you. Once you build rapport, they like you. They'll start recommending you. They'll start, oh, wow. Let's say, imagine, I'll think of a name, Kevin. He's brilliant. He's a brilliant Reiki healer. You want to check him out. He sorted me out. That's how it all starts. Build that rapport. That's important as well. Whilst you want to be friendly, you don't want to become friends. And that might sound a bit odd. One reason, pure and simple, boundaries. Because if they think you're your friend, unfortunately, people will take advantage of that. So if you have those professional boundaries, of course, you want to help, but the worst thing, because if they start interrupting with your boundaries, you'll have phone calls going off in about 2 a.m. Saying like, I can't get to sleep tonight. My chakras are out of balance. Can you help me? That's totally wrong. But this is what can happen if you don't have the boundaries. So it's important that we keep the boundaries and we have that friendship kind of just a little bit out of touch. So it's rapport, yes, but keep it professional. That's what we got there. And so let's turn on to these are my favourites now. Number six. So you've got your Reiki, and if you're a Reiki master, I'm going to say, well, let's get out there and start teaching. Start teaching. It's something you can certainly do. Share your knowledge because the whole point of us all learning this is to share. It's not for us to sort of like see like, oh, ha, 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 I'm a Reiki master now. I'm going to be very secretive who I take and work with. No, let's get out there, share that beautiful energy, bring this light and raise the vibration of this planet. So obviously, sort of like teaching is one thing, but workshops in general, so you can maybe have a workshop. You might thinking like, and this is where we get creative. How about that? Let's do Reiki with painting, for example. Maybe you're an artist and you like doing that. You think, why can't I bring some Reiki into my artwork? And people that I've trained, for example, they can come in with that. So if you've had a few people you've trained and you think, oh, they're finished with me now, you can have Reiki artwork classes, Reiki writing. I mean, I love writing, and that's another area could look into. Reiki flower arranging, whatever it is. These are little aspects we can work with. And I'll say as well as a little bonus, Reiki shares. So it's people coming around, again, I would say a professional space, and everybody just giving each other Reiki. And I've done some of those where literally I've had about 10 people give me Reiki at once. It is mind blowing. So this is something you could consider. And if you're hosting, you charge a small fee for everyone that comes in, and everyone's a winner. So that's another thing. So yeah, think about workshops. And number seven kind of blends in quite nicely to collaborations. So let's imagine you're a Reiki healer, but you think, oh, it'd be lovely to have a massage kind of like Reiki, but I don't do massage. Your friend's a masseur. She's not a Reiki healer. Um, and that friend knows maybe a friend up the road who's a clairvoyant, a medium, but she's not interested in Reiki. It's not interested in in masseur. Maybe you could all three of you get together and go around and offer maybe an evening of all three of those elements. So you do your part, friend does the other, and so on. And you could build like little pamper evenings, something like that. Perhaps is what you can do. Do make sure who you work with, you get on with. I mean, I'm talking professionally here again. When we come to the friendship thing, friendship's great, but if we get professional, make sure that you all know exactly what you're doing. No one's going to, and if people let you down, you kind of have to think about, do I want to work with them again? Hopefully that won't be the case. But these are the things we do need to consider. So make sure everyone's on point, and then you can maybe look in that way. But collaborations, you could even get a hall or a room and maybe do like talks. Imagine you'll give a talk on Reiki, friend gives a talk on massage, and the other one sort of talking about clairvoyancy or mediumship, and suddenly you can like generate interest there. So that's another thing you consider. Consider collaboration. I really like that one. Number 8, again, it's an important one. It's build your email list. Build your email, because that's how you can kind of reach out, really reach out to people. Keep letting people know what you're doing. And again, you don't want to be spammy. You don't want to be going like spending loads of spam to people, which is why important that we come back to the educating part. You want to educate people. You want to show. You want to help. At the end of the day, that's what it's all about. You want to help people. And by helping people, you help yourself. And it really engenders that feeling of community. It's what I'm firmly believing with this channel I've got here and the people I work with, is build a community energy. We can all be part of that. We can all do that together. So let's build a beautiful community. And finally, exactement, we have, what have we got? It's a moment, that revelation. Newsletter. So the newsletter, so you've got your email list, and of course, what you're going to have to do is build a newsletter. And you can have it once a month if you want. Funny enough, I'm about to send one out to my clients that I've built up over the years. And you don't want to go too verbose. You don't want to put like reams and reams of stuff on there. But build up a newsletter, combine it with your email list, bosh, send it out there. And just kind of like, it's nice to people know what you're doing. So yeah, if you've got a fair coming up, for example, you can put that on there. But again, you want to give a little bit of value as well from you. Maybe like a gift, even just a few affirmations, for example. My affirmation for you is this. I often put a little haiku on my work, which is because I love little poems. They're only a little three line poem that I often do. It just blends quite nicely into the Reiki side of things. It's your chance to tell you what's coming up, sharing and engendering that communicative spirit. So as we build that energy, it really does serve us well as we move more and more into the stages of new progression, which is always very, very much sought after. So there we are, everyone. It's 9 points. Now, for those who are still here, I salute you. It's lovely to have you here. And I've also put together a little list of fun and unique things to do with Reiki. Some you may know, some you may not. If you want to receive that, just put swipe me in the comments and I'll send that to you. It will entail you filling in a short little form where I'll divert you to. And yes, I will get your email address from you so I can exchange information with you. And you've just been listening to my Reiki business practices, and now you know why. Put in is practicing what I preach, and you could maybe thinking, oh, I could do something similar. That is a way I build rapport with you, and also I get to share these lovely tips that I've got. So if you want that for yourself, please do drop a comment, and as always, like, subscribe if you want to. I always leave that at the end. It's a little throwaway. I don't throw that in at the start. And I like, hopefully, if you got this far, you may well seriously consider that. Anyway, I've waffled on long enough. Please enjoy. We're coming into the weekend as I'm speaking here. Enjoy your weekend, enjoy your week, enjoy your day, night, evening, because you might be looking at this 6 months after I've recorded this. It could be 6 years after I recorded this. The information is still valid. Thank you so much. Take care. Much love. Catch you at the next one.